Maybe I have a voice. Okay, we'll see. Good morning, beloveds. It is my last official day of vacation. I don't work on the weekend, so technically I still have 2 more days. But I have a dentist appointment tomorrow, and I do work at the center on Sunday. So, and today is my day to, not do anything, which is not true. I do have some stuff to do, but it's like maintenance in the house. So, and I ticked off my bucket list. I did Dickens. I did, or I should say we did Dickens. And then we went to the Galveston Naval Museum and Galveston Moody Gardens, to see both Iceland and the holiday lights. That was a lot. And then we went to NASA, climbed into the space shuttle and the Boeing, and went to Mission Control to watch the Apollo, I think it was Apollo 11 landing, which is really cool. And then, and then yesterday we went to see the Terracotta Warriors at the museum, and the living Terracotta Warrior was there, and it was really cool. So, because we were standing there examining him, waiting for him to move, and I guess he realized that we knew that he was, that we suspected. So he finally moved and shook our hands, and then scared the heck out of the next people. So then we all had our pictures taken with him. It was great. And then, but the exhibit it was very small, but it was really cool. Like, I don't even want to think about how they transported those guys. Especially the chariots, because they had 1 full-size horse, 4 full-size, mostly intact warriors. One, I think they said he was a juggler, and he was in pieces. So they had reconstructed as much of him as they could. And then, but they had 2 chariots that were half size, that were just like really incredible. And then they had these things where they were interactive. You could interact with them on the walls. And so it was neat. And then they had one thing where it told the story and it did drawings. Like, technology is just really amazing what they can do. Cause like in the King Tut's exhibit, they paint the walls, and tell you the story of how it was made. And like, it's in full color and it's really neat. So I appreciate that the museums are getting more creative with their exhibits. And then we went to holiday, the zoo lights. Those tickets were $40 each, but, I mean, it's the zoo and you're helping the zoo. And so, and the lights were really neat. And there were a lot of places where they did really cool things. And obviously all of the animals had been put to bed. We saw the giraffes and that was it. That was literally the only animals we saw were the giraffes. Cause they were still out walking around. But other than that, but the lights were really, really, really cool. The Enchanted Forest, I think, was our favorite because, it was just magical. Winter Wonderland was neat too. They had like 12-foot tall reindeer made out of lights, but so it was a lot of fun. So today is the day where I do as little as possible, but all right. I'm sorry. I guess I felt like I needed to recap my week. So we're doing your spiritual power. We are almost finished with your spiritual power. We are doing Think Your Troubles Away, and let's do the housekeeping, and then we'll do the reading. And all the housekeeping is me reminding you that we are creatively spiritual. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center. The website is creativelife.org. The constant contact email is info@creativelife.org. Hang on, there's more words. Let me think of it. Let's see. Oh, you get 1 email a week, tells you what's going on for the week and the month. The hot links are hot, so click here now means it. And it is a blind CC. Nobody's going to see your email. You won't end up on anybody else's email list because of us. And I said 1 a week, and I'm serious. It's a real person doing it. He doesn't have time for that. Most of the time, if you get more than 1, it's generally weather related because we live on the Gulf Coast. Okay. All right. Social media. I only mention the social media because we do not monetize the social media. We do not want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So what we ask you to do instead is to engage with pages. Like, subscribe, follow based on which platform you are on, and then engage with the individual posts by reacting to the post, commenting on the post, sharing the posts. It bumps us in the algorithms. More people see our stuff. That's ultimately the goal of social media. And it's a free and easy way you can support the center. Okay, let's do this. So, your spiritual power is a library, or as he likes to say, it's a collection of inspirational. Basically, it's a collection of Ernest Holmes writings that aren't easily found out in the wild. They may have had a limited run publishing, what have you. 3 of the books in here, though, are compilations of his writings in the Science of Mind magazine. Discover a Richer Life, Living Without Fear, and the one we're doing, which is Think Your Trouble Is Away. They're compilations of his magazine articles, which is why they have a different tone, and I really like it. So we are doing Think Your Trouble Away. We are in the first part of that, and the article today, as I am about to lose my voice, hang on. The problem with being on vacation is you probably never drink enough water. So I have to make that up today. I may be a little dehydrated, which is definitely going to affect my voice. All right. So we are doing Think Your Troubles Away. The article's title is A New Life. We sense in life a great mystery. There is not a normal-minded person who does not feel, for instance, that if there were something which could untie or loosen some other part of themselves, then there would result in an entirely different manifestation of themselves. I do not think anyone has ever lived who has thought very much about the meaning of life, and who has been willing to open their mind to interior convictions, who has not at times felt a bigger personality, a sense that this everyday individual is a projection of something which stands back of it, projecting it. I do not mean the experience of a dual or split personality. I mean rather the consciousness of a bigger self, the same self, but more of it. This is certain. The more deeply we penetrate the mind, instead of exhausting that which we are penetrating, we discover how much more is left to be penetrated. We might have so much water in a reservoir, and when we use it, it is gone. So much money in the bank, and when we draw it out, it is gone. So much food in the larder, and when it is eaten, that is the end of it. Everything in the objective world begins and ends in the duration of time. But when we enter the subjective world, the spiritual world, or the thought world, all of which mean the same thing, when we enter ourselves, we discover ourselves to be an inexhaustible reservoir. Why is this unless there really is an inexhaustible self which we all may feel? The great problems which confront humanity today are not economic, not political. The problems of the day are those which deal with the soul and with the spirit. In saying this, I do not belittle the economic problems. I do not belittle the international problems, but they are effects of humanity's mind. They are not causes. No government ever ran itself. No system of thought ever devised itself without the instrumentality of the mind, of soul, and of spirit. Therefore, the things that we do, the things in which we are objectively interested, are effects of our interior selves. Okay. The real questions to which people are seeking answers are not... Sorry about that. The real questions to which people are seeking answers are not like this. Shall I regain a lost fortune? For it does not make a bit of difference whether any of us regain a lost fortune. The question which people are asking today are, what is worthwhile? What is it about? What is it all about? Why am I? What am I? What, if any, is the reality of my own life, the integrity of my own soul? Is there any continuity of my consciousness? Am I simply a happening in the universe which is chaotic, meaningless, destitute of intelligence and purposefulness, lacking in program and progress? That last one's kind of a downer. Today, we are finding a transition in the race thought greater than at any other period in the entire history of human race. The crumbling and the downfall of empires, the breaking up of established systems of thought, the changing of institutions, all conspire to cause the individual to look at their own soul. This contemplation, this inquiry as to what it is all about, is producing a rapid evolution in our thought. Religious systems are changing. People are asking whether or not the church shall ever survive, whether or not any human institution can survive the terrific shock of recent years. Which kind of makes you wonder when this was written. As somebody else pointed out to me on a previous reading, Ernest Holmes was alive during World War II, so, and World War I. Yeah, no. Trying to think. He published the Science Mind text in 1927. So he was definitely here for both of them and probably much more aware and conscious of the second one. Okay. So this inquiring attitude is a healthy mental state. The world, spiritually speaking, is in better condition than it has been because of all of this controversy, this mental turmoil. There will be some kind of an answer. That answer, which is to satisfy the new order, must do 4 things. Okay. It must satisfy the intellect, therefore it must be intelligent. It must satisfy our factual findings, which means it must be scientific. It must satisfy our emotions, therefore it must be artistic. It must satisfy our cosmic sense. That is the sense of bigness which the soul has. Therefore, it must be spiritual. The new answer must also provide a bridge between the intellect and the emotion, which is why we're constantly talking about thought wrapped in feeling. Science and philosophy are things of the intellect. Religion and art are things of the feeling and of the emotion. Every religion which has ever been devised, crude as it may have appeared to a more cultured form of worship, has been an attempt to interpret in an objective manner that mystical sense which all people have. All the symbologies of all of the ages have been some attempt on the part of the intellect to interpret a spiritual sense which is instinctive in human thought. Okay, hang on. Let me gather my thoughts here, or rather my wits. We are on the verge of the greatest spiritual renaissance the world has ever known. Each one is seeking to reinterpret life to themselves. There are certain things we must know about ourselves. Throughout all of the ages, there have been certain people who have plunged beneath the material surface and found a relationship of the individual to the universal. We have called such people illumined. Always there have been people who, like Walt Whitman, have announced, I am not contained between my hat and my boots. I like that. That is either true or else it is not true. We will never know whether or not it is true by listening to what somebody else is telling us about. Nothing can save the world from the terrible dearth of peace. Wait, what? Okay, nothing can save the world from the terrible dearth of peace, which is prevalent today, but the soul itself. Okay, it's a strange choice of words, so we may look about us for saviors, but we shall not find them. We may listen to sages and can interpret or misinterpret what they say, but we will never find any satisfactory answer outside an immediate personal experience. What is a spiritual experience? That's a good question. A spiritual experience is a certain interior awareness through which the soul becomes conscious of itself as being in unity with the universal and with all other selves. We all have had such experiences in varying degrees, but it is possible for the average individual to have a satisfactory spiritual experience. Nope, hang on. Let me try that sentence again. We all have had such experiences in varying degrees, but is it possible for the average individual to have a satisfactory spiritual experience so that they may know, so that they can speak as one having authority? The most pathetic spectacle in the world is a person who is not sure of themselves. The most unhappy person in the world is a person who does not believe in themselves. The most impossible mental state is that which does not know that good must come to all alike at last. All right. I'm going to take that one to think about for a little bit. We believe that there is a universe, a limitless, all-knowing intelligence. No. Okay. We believe that there is in the universe a limitless, all-knowing intelligence with the infinite capacity to know and to be, an infinite, intuitive, instantaneous power. It is impossible for the finite to grasp the full meaning of God. This infinite being is or has within itself that what we may call an infinite personalness. This does not mean that God is a person as we think of as a person. It does not limit the idea of the infinite to think that the spirit has the elements of infinite personalness, and the fact that it has produced personality is proof that it is possessed of these infinites. It's possessed of these elements. It is the nature of this infinite being to express itself. Otherwise, why would we be here? That is, it has infinite intelligence and feeling. It is an infinite artist and an infinite thinker. It is infinite feelingness. It has infinite personalness. It is the abstract essence of all concrete personality, the abstract essence of the possibility of the feeling of every artist. It is pure intelligence, the abstract essence of the answer to every problem, for it has no problems. It is infinite will, not as we understand will, but an infinite will from the standpoint and basis that it is infinite in its capacity to know and to project. Therefore, the truth or reality is never a fragment. It is always a totality. That is what we mean when we say God. And I don't know that that makes it any clearer. So, here we are. The infinite was, is, and is to be. I realize that the concept I have given could produce absolute philosophic materialism, because I could turn around and say that this infinite has no beneficent purposefulness, that it is just blind mechanical mind. This may be an intellectual and a philosophical concept, but it does not satisfy us. mainly because we recognize ourselves as warm, pulsing, colorful beings. We long for human love and understanding and divine relationship. The intellect, trained in things intellectual only, turns upon itself and destroys itself. We have witnessed such a turning in the world in recent years. All right. I'd be curious to know what in particular he's referencing, but that would be a historical question. We wish to know if there is in the infinite anything that knows us. We say, does God know me? Every person is going to ask that question sooner or later. Either there is no power, no intelligence, nothing in the universe that knows me or cares what happens to me, or else there is such a power. We can no longer believe that we can pray to some God who will bless us and not bless our neighbor, simply because the neighbor does not believe as we believe. We know that whatever this infinite thing is, it is not a house divided against itself. It is you, it is me, and it is all. But does it know you, me, and itself? I believe that the infinite mind knows us, but I do not believe that it knows us apart from itself. I think mind does know us, but it knows us as a part of itself. It knows us within itself, not as separate or isolated. We are part of its self-knowingness. Therefore, I believe that our self-knowingness, what we know about ourselves, is really true Therefore, I believe that our self-knowingness, what we know about ourselves that is really true, is our consciousness of God at the personal level of our evolution. Okay. That's definitely something to take away and think about for a minute. In saying this, I hasten to add that I do not believe I am God. There is a great difference between saying I am God and saying God is me. Ice is water. All ice is some water, but not all water is ice. So we might say of the life of people, all of the life of people is some of the life of God. Some of the life of God is all of the life of people. But a person is not all of the life of God. It is my conviction that whatever my life is God. There is no difference between my life and God in essence. The difference is in degree. Consequently, if that infinite I am in me and in all people is God, it accounts for the fact that in moments of illumination, we are able to see that thing back of us. The infinite thing knows me at the level of my ability to know it. Its self-knowingness is me, and my self-knowingness is it. There is an infinite intelligence which gives birth to our own minds. And if our own minds are in league with it, then we arrive at the reason for the power of thought. The practical application of this metaphysical idealism is right here. But there is likely to be a great misunderstanding about this. Mind is the thing that creates. My mind is the mind of God functioning at the level of my perception of life. Therefore, to me, my mind must be as God. It is the only thing that could interpret, understand, accept, or reject. Because of this, thought is creative. If this is true, and if this mind of ours does partake in that universal wholeness and is creative, then we are bound by our own liberty, and bondage is an expression of freedom. Humanity's freedom under the infinite law of all life. I believe that each one of us is turning to the great inner life. Rewind. I believe that each one of us, in turning to the great inner life, is turning to God. They who penetrate this innermost life will find it to be birthless, deathless, fearless, eternal, happy, perfect, and complete. Gradually, there dawns in their consciousness a sense that God, or the infinite, is flowing into everything that they are doing. As individuals, we must re-educate our minds, realize that we have as an ally a presence and a law in which the past, the present, and future, and all people whom we call living and dead, live and move and have their being forever unfolding. Alrighty then. Tomorrow we will start part 2, which is the creativity of thought. Yay. All right. Whew. Okay. I'm going to go to the park tomorrow, but then from now on, I should be back to pretty much regularly scheduled hours. Tom is going back to work tomorrow, so we're going to get up, go to the park, come home, and then I will do this live stream, and then I will go to the dentist because, you know, that has to happen every 6 months because for good health. Yay. Yeah. So that's the plan. And then hopefully I get to go to the gym on Saturday because I have definitely abused myself somewhat this week. All right, beloveds. I'm going to get one more drink. Oh, that one was very greedy. I don't know that that was helpful. And I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, wondrous day, fantastic day, magical day, an enchanted day, wonderful day, awesome day, amazing day, a take care of yourself day, a enjoy this last day of vacation day. For me, you can enjoy it too, whatever kind of day you're going to have. A get out and enjoy the weather day, maybe throw the windows open. It's going to be 75 here today. So, enjoy your pictures day, a eat something amazing day, a let's get back on track day, a I'm out of words day, a good day. And if that is too much, oh, you know what? Drink plenty of water day, cuddle your fur babies day, tell somebody you love them day. All right. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are spirit in motion, God in action, a brilliant light, a divine spark, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time at your own pace. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. All right. Explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be because the divine knows you to be good. And from there, anything is possible. Anything at all is possible. All right, beloveds. So, Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I should be back with you around 9-ish tomorrow because, again, I'm going to go to the park tomorrow. But I will do Emma chapter 6 around 4 today. That is my plan. So hopefully I get done before David gets on. So take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.